Happy New Year, everybody. Let's have a look at Bitcoin. I won't take up too much of your time. I'm sure you've got better things to do. And so, Bitcoin doesn't look particularly convincing at the moment, I have to say. It looks pretty awful. I'm not one for formations or whatever, but we do appear to be having a head and shoulders vibe going on here on the daily. And not only that, but we're below all the major moving averages on this daily chart as well. We've been like that for the last 4 days without any kind of conviction of these moves back up. Retested the center of the Bollinger Band yesterday, so it was a decent move. Sold straight back off. Okay, fair enough. If we go to our oscillators over here, we are crossing over on the MACD. We are sort of, I suppose, moving down on the money flow index and the RSI, so none of that looks particularly good. And if we go to the weekly is still negatively crossed, diverging on the MACD, and nothing too convincing here. So as far as what we're expecting here, what I'm expecting, I mean, today is the first, so first of all, it's a holiday. It's January the 1st. It's a Saturday as well, so if there's ever to be a Wild West kind of vibe going on, which which could do absolutely anything, it would be today. It's a holiday weekend, first day of a new year, so it's gonna, whatever happens today is, for me, it's gonna be relatively unpredictable. But if we carry on in this kind of position, I would expect us to dip down lower towards the lower 40s, if not 40,000 itself. And the reason I say that is that we expected this big dump. We spoke about it. I made 2 videos leading into it, and then we got it. So we got into the low 40s, which is what we're expecting. When we got that, I said, look, we're going to need a bit of time for a range to be established, but my expectation is that a range would likely be between 40 and 49,500. This would be the accumulation range. Now, we spent pretty much the entire time refusing to break down below 46,000, right? Which is fine, because that had a little bit of historical relevance to it over here. We can also see these wicks over here. So there is reason for us to try and stay above here on a horizontal trendline basis. But the stronger level of support is the 40,000, because this is where the top was formed, the absolute bubble pop top, which led to the alt season in, well, it was about almost exactly a year ago. So we got bubble pop here, 2017, bubble pop here, 2019, bubble pop here, 2020 into 21. And then the rest of it was all just a bit of a bonus, really. And there's no bubble pop since then, which is why I don't believe that we're going into a bear market. The only reason we would go into a bear market is simply as if investment and trading is going to be a less lucrative environment because the dollar carries on strengthening. Why part with a strong dollar when you could keep in the dollar basically as it goes up, and all assets go down as a matter of default? So that is one thing to bear in mind. The dollar's been on a bit of a rampage for a good 3 months now. We've watched that grow. We've said it was a bull market for it. Well, I say bull market, a savage uptrend for the Dixie, and we've watched it climb and climb and climb. Now it seems to be climbing and overreaching to areas which I was, well, I mean, I suppose they're all marked off on the chart. We'll have to get the chart up here, shan't we? So that way we can have a good look at it. But yeah, with a strong dollar, basically becomes less investment opportunity, less trading opportunity. Because why would you? Why would you move into into something like Bitcoin, which is neither here nor there, when you have a dollar strength like this on a weekly that just continues to make higher highs, higher lows throughout? I mean, it doesn't look like it wants to slow down, to be honest with you. We have come up to test this major area of resistance, 97, which is pre-pandemic levels. But the best thing to do, I suppose, if anyone was in a cash position, is just wait, because if this does break out above 97, we go on a fair old tear up, and this is counter to all the Bitcoin moon boys that like to think of the dollar as turning into glass beads or whatever. It's not. The dollar index is. It doesn't mean that the dollar is strong. The dollar index, the Dixie, is just a combination of other major currencies, and it would appear to be stronger than them. So that's all it's referring to. It's not saying much, but it's definitely stronger than Bitcoin, isn't it? You can see that now, because Bitcoin's been going down over this. Well, this is on a daily, but for a much longer period of time, the dollar has been going up, right? So anyway, I hope you understand where I'm coming from. If the dollar continues to go up, why would you part with that dollar? You have more purchasing power with that dollar if you can just hold on to it for a little longer. Dollar means tether, means USDC means BUSD. That's what it means. That's all pegged to the dollar. So that's what that means. Your purchasing power would remain greater in a cash position while we wait this out. And if this carries on the way it looks like it wants to carry on, I think it will dip down into the lower 40s and accumulate within this range. This range will be the one that gets fleshed out like the original expectation. We said that we were going to drop into it, and then I said that we're probably going to accumulate within this region. Surprised to see that we held at this level, but the being on the back foot, being prepared for it to come down to these levels, we said that from the very beginning, even before we dumped into this level in the first place. So that is the Bitcoin situation at the moment. Is it still bullish? Well, I mean, if we look at if we focus on what we're seeing here, we got an incoming death cross, which is likely to take place probably in the second week of January at this current price action. If we were to dip lower, it would happen quicker. So that again is in a bull market, which I think we still are technically in a bull market overall in the long term. Not too much of a big deal. We got death crosses throughout this bull market. We had one here. You could argue that the lows were already in. It had a double bottom. No big deal. We used to see death crosses quite frequently, to be honest with you, trading Bitcoin over the last few years. Here's another example. So this is a big dump down, and the death cross took place pretty much on these lows. This is where the death cross happened, and then a double bottom formed from there. Another death cross, forged out of that massive dump from the March crash. That if anyone's around, so they can essentially be red herrings. You see these things come in. Oh my God, death cross, death cross, death cross. Provided we're on a major uptrend, which I think Bitcoin will still be in, a daily death cross doesn't mark anything. But if it were to be in a bear market, it creates a strength of trend momentum further down. So we'll see how that see where we are if and when that happens. I would be surprised to see it not happen, given the way that we look right now. And to avoid that death cross, we would need to really reclaim, arguably, these most recent highs, 50, 51, 52, and reclaim those quite quick. But being below 50, we're going to get the death cross regardless, and we'll see where we are, leading up to that. Do we dump first and then we get one of those death crosses which essentially marks the bottom? I don't know. But looking at this overall, in the grand scheme of things, it's still an uptrend on the weekly. That's fine, and $40,000 should remain strong. I expect it probably will. That's our zone over here. But if it doesn't, then we have all these areas marked off just in case. Look, let's just carry on, just sitting on the sidelines, waiting and watching. I still hold plenty of Bitcoin, and I'm not going to be selling it. The idea for me would be to build upon that through the use of trading Bitcoin pairs, and that's why I'm going to be making more videos on Bitcoin. Well, not just Bitcoin bots, but just bots in general. But my preference is always to use a Bitcoin pair trade sats and leave it at that. So enjoy the rest of your day at least. I hope you got some nice food or whatever, for New Year's Day. And take it easy. Don't panic, but be prepared for a lower price, and don't panic when we get it.